Good morning, good morning. Grab your coffee, find a seat, and let's get this thing started. There we go. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. My name is Kyle. I'm one of your community organizers. This is Courtney. Connor's over there in the back. John's hiding back there. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you please raise your hand if this is your first time at 1 Million Cups? Yeah, excellent. Thanks for coming out. So the format's fairly simple. We'll have a couple companies present. Our expert panel will ask them some questions, provide feedback, and then you'll have the opportunity to do the same. So make sure you pay attention and have those questions ready. Also, if you haven't yet, go to your app store, wherever you download apps, and download the 1 Million Cups app. That will allow you to check in here and see who else is hanging out and also provide feedback to the companies and us organizers as well. So again, please download that 1 Million Cups app and get yourself logged in. Let me have our expert panelists introduce themselves.
Good morning. My name is Arlana Coleman, and I am the owner of A-Joy Event Planning, LLC. We do all types of events. I'm here representing the Kansas City, Kansas Women's Chamber this morning.
Good morning. My name is Sherry Turner. I'm with 1KC for Women, which is the women's business center that provides resources for women that want to start and grow their businesses. It's an alliance that also includes the Women's Employment Network and the Women's Capital Connection, our equity investment group, as well as a micro-lending We Lend initiative. So thanks for having us.
Thank you both for joining us. Also, if you'd like to join the conversation on Twitter, hop on Twitter, use the hashtag 1MCKC, and follow us at 1 Million Cups. Let's have a very warm welcome for our first presenters, Stuart and Chris with Instant Activism.
Good morning. Well, I'm very excited to be here. I attended my first 1 Million Cups event over 2 years ago. And little did I know it would take me twice as long and twice as much money to get to this point where we have a product to present. Instant Activism is a for-profit company that creates advocacy tools to make it simple, quick, and easy for you and me to contact our elected officials. For most of this millennium, I've been starting and managing human rights projects in Central Asia and Russia, countries with authoritarian governments. And upon returning to the United States a couple of years ago, I was a bit dismayed at how difficult it is for just myself and my friends to reach out to our elected officials, to express ourselves on topics of interest and importance to us, whether it's gun control, abortion, sexual assaults. When I researched the easiest way to do that, I found there was no easy way. How to identify who your elected official is at the federal, state, and local level. What's their contact information? What do I say when I contact them? So I thought advocacy hadn't really been keeping up with technology. And so we undertook to make that process simpler. There are many, many ways to advocate with our elected officials. Petitions, phone calls, writing letters, faxes, emails, organizing public demonstrations, town hall meetings, monitoring reporting. I mean, there's called the Advocacy Toolkit, consisting of a multitude of ways to reach out to our elected officials. But why don't people do that? In this last presidential election, over 120 million people voted, but less than 10% follow up and contact their elected official. So I thought, well, if we could make it easier to do that, more people would engage with their elected officials. In 2012, the Joseph Kony video really brought to me home the idea that people do want to be involved. They do want to express themselves. They do want to be active. They do want to tell our elected officials what we think. But it became very difficult to do that. There was a TED Talk a few years ago that I saw that talked about the keys to success for a startup. Timing was the top priority, and During my lifetime, seems to be the most politically active time since the 60s. The team, Chris Routh, our product director, and Mike Richardson, our technical director, they put together an incredible product that we call the Shoutbox. And it allows you to quickly and easily connect with your elected official. And for more on the product itself, I'm going to turn it over to Chris, our product director, and he's going to demonstrate exactly what we've done.
All right, so this is the Shoutbox, and it allows anybody to reach their elected officials via social media like Facebook, and share it potentially across millions of people. Unlike most other advocacy tools, the Shoutbox is able to convince even the least active of us to take action. So we can go ahead and see how it works. Normally I do this live on the internet, but we've got some slides here. So this is actually a real Shoutbox, well, a picture of a real Shoutbox on our Facebook page. If you go to our Facebook, you can see it right now. This particular one was about a bipartisan bill. It reached 14,000 people. I think it had about an 11% engagement rate, which is about 3 times what other advocacy tools do. And it works similarly like a Facebook post. You can like, you can share. However, when you actually click on that little Shoutbox, it'll take you to this other screen. And this is, again, just a screenshot, but we will ask for your zip code, so that way we can tell who your actual elected officials are, depending on where you live. We also pre-populate a message that will be directly sent to your officials again. And you can then also select who, maybe just one, maybe you just want to send it to Kevin Yoder, or all 3 of them. These are obviously mine. We also ask for your name and email address, so we just have some identification purposes. You're able to edit this message however you want to. Again, we just pre-populate it for you for ease of use and simplicity, but you can go ahead and change that to be whatever you need to. So once you hit submit, that's basically it. The whole process takes about 10 seconds. In fact, we use a hashtag called 10-second activism. This part right here is actually how you create the Shoutbox. It's a single page. We actually, if you look at the category here, we pre-populate a few different categories. Some of the most popular categories like immigration, gun control, abortion, things like that. We have pre-formatted content for all of those on both sides. It could be pro or con, and that's where the stance would show up. We also give you the ability to put in a title and description that goes directly onto the Shoutbox, and that's typically what people see and know what the message is going to be about. Again, this whole process takes about 30 seconds to fill out this information. You can click preview, you'll get that. You fill out a payment. We charge $1 to create it, but anybody that's using it, again, like on Facebook, anytime somebody clicks on it, it's absolutely free. So once you're happy with your Shoutbox, you will be emailed a link to share it at any time, or you can share it automatically right now. Oh, did I just, yeah. And then you'll also be able to select a message, create a message just like you would on any other Facebook post. And once that, it's live. Again, if you go to our own Facebook page, you can see different examples of this. We've had a number of people have created these already. They exist all over Facebook.
Because of our limited human and financial resources, we decided to start with email from Facebook. But overall, the plan is to expand the functions that the Shoutbox can incorporate to include phone calling, messaging, sending a hard copy letter, faxing, attending town hall meetings, etc. And ultimately, to place the Shoutbox across multiple platforms. I've learned that this process, as many of you know, is quite complicated. Each platform has its own peculiarities, and each platform seems to change those peculiarities over time. We plan to be able to incorporate for organizations a function that allows an easy and simple ways to make donations. But this was really constructed for individuals and small social action groups to make it easier for those without a voice, those that don't have the money or the power, to be able to reach out effectively and contact their officials. If it grows, we'll have lots of data that can be mined and monetized. And ultimately, if there's enough grassroots support, to be able to reach out to enterprises, nonprofits, non-governmental organizations, media outlets, and government contracts, to the extent democracy programming still remains funded, which we will see. Now I invite you to visit instantactivism.com or facebook.com/instantactivism on your phone, on your tablet, and try the Shoutbox. We have monetized it to create your own Shoutbox for $1, but it can be used by anyone for free. Thank you.
First, we'd like to open it up to our expert panel for Q&A.
Cool product. A couple of questions. Can you expand a little bit on your revenue model? I wasn't sure last night when I was looking at your site whether you were for-profit or nonprofit. Now you've stated you are for-profit. So can a dollar doesn't seem like much right now. So can you expand?
Yes. It is a cause-related organization. My background has been in public service and nonprofits for 25 years, so I thought because I didn't know much about it, I'd try the for-profit approach. I knew the nonprofit was going to be quite difficult, and I had no idea how hard it would be this way. We want to make it accessible to individuals, and we want people to use it. The grassroots approach is to build up an organic following and have people pay $1 to create their own. We're really looking at targeting what we call super advocates. These are small social action groups. Like the Dakota Pipeline, there are activists who are involved who have maybe 20,000 followers. So they could create their own Shoutbox for their followers to send messages about their position on the Dakota Pipeline to their elected official. We'll also be adding features that allow individuals to personalize that so that content doesn't have to be developed by them. They can use existing content, personalize the content they are given, or develop their own, all for $1. To the extent that it will resonate and we're able to attract enough of a following, then the idea is to reach out to enterprises. Nonprofits that we've had discussions with are very interested in it, but they're entrenched in their own tools that they use, that they develop. But we think that this is a much better tool than they are using, and to the extent it will resonate, we would see them purchasing it. And then what's of value is the data. The actual tool to create will remain relatively inexpensive, but the data, the analytics, will be where there will be more value. So that's our approach for increasing the revenue with enterprises. Government contracts is what I've been involved with, and I was in democracy, human rights projects. Towards the end of my work, social media became very important, and so there's a potential for working with State Department, USAID on contracts to use these tools in countries where there is not a democracy.
So for your use here, you've already done the market research and you show that there is really a niche that's not being filled today? Because it seems like I get these types of emails every day asking me to sign up and contact my congressperson.
That's right, right. It's a competitive field. Change.org, the largest petition site, 35 million users. Freedom House, who I worked for. APAC. I mean, every organization has their own tool, the National Realtors Association. So our approach really was to look at individuals and small groups. We're not trying to compete yet with these enterprises. But yes, there are many options available for you. But we think this approach makes it quicker, easier, and faster than anything else available.
So can you expand just a little bit on where you're at as a startup? I mean, how many shout boxes are out there? How long have you been live? Are you going by user count? How are you measuring your success so far?
Yeah, so we're we're still very, very new. We have around 50 shout boxes, I think, created so far, mostly just marketed through our own Facebook page. In fact, up until, probably 2 weeks ago, we had like 800 followers. Now we have over 4,000 in just 2 weeks. So we're excited about growth, and we do think there's going to be more.
So you mentioned organic growth. Are you watching, I have to assume since you're talking analytics, once a shout box is created, then you have I guess a hit rate on that shout box to know whether or not people, just because somebody creates one, that it's actually being used. So what does that analytic look like?
So there's a few different metrics, and because we've had quite a few, and it's there's lots of different stances and categories and things like that, so some particular topics might be more popular now than others, or more relevant to today versus yesterday. So I mean, just looking at the numbers, I think the very worst, I shouldn't say worst, but least maybe effective shout box had like a 2.2% click-through rate, but we've seen others at 9, 10, 11, 12%. Again, which is, it's hard getting good comparison numbers against other advocacy tools and things like that, but based off our experience and some of the research we've done, it looks to be significant for several of them.
I should say also, Mike is developing the dashboard and the analytics, and everything is being captured. So that if someone creates it, they post it, they share it, someone else uses it, the email, everything is collected. So we're able to retain all this information.
So once you collect the information, how do you feed that back to the person that created?
We'll do that through a dashboard that will provide various analytics. Right now, Facebook provides you with a lot of that information already. Our approach really is to first capitalize on that, then offer a dashboard for an additional fee, and hopefully, if there's enough usage, to be able to then use various tools and algorithms to analyze all the emails. Obviously, we have 2 senators for Kansas. They can't possibly read every email, but their staffers read many of them and use analytical tools to analyze the data for the balance of them. And that's the other tools that we can provide.
So what would you say is your biggest challenge right now?
Building the market.
How are you marketing?
Right now, we are exclusively limiting ourselves to Facebook. And Chris can, I think, speak.
Sorry, there's a
The
little
little
mouse running
mouse.
around here. Oh, sorry, what was the question?
We're gonna open it up to the audience real quick
building
for
a better
Q&A.
mousetrap.
Yeah, so if somebody has a free cup and catches it, just let us know. I'll open it up right here in the front.
Thanks, Courtney. Couple of quick questions. One, do you have a screenshot of what it looks like as far as the correspondence that goes to a member of the government, as far as what that looks like? And two, I don't know if there's any way to measure the success. I'm sure they get inundated with different communications of whether this gets looked at more or less, or I don't know if there's any way to measure that or not.
I was going to say, the correspondence is done directly through an email. So the user who actually sends that email that you saw up there, it actually is sent from their personal email that they put in there. So it actually opens up a discourse between that individual and whoever the aide is, the assistant, or the rep themselves who decides to get back to them. We capture all the analytics and metrics that are associated with that entire transaction, up to the point that they kind of take it offline.
Yeah, and I think one of the things to point out here too, real quick, is that if you try and contact your elected official right now, you'll go to their website and you have to fill out a form. You can't actually email them. That information is technically not public. And so all of your information just goes into a database that somebody may or may not see. Since we're doing actual emails to them, if this shout box gets clicked, 10,000 times, they're going to know it because they're going to see it in their email 10,000 times. Yeah. So, and that's one of the things that we want to do too, as we expand and grow, is to work with the elected officials. So we know that could potentially be, they don't want to get 10,000 emails in an hour or something like that. But that's an incentive for them to work with us and figure out the best way of having that one-on-one communication.
Looks like we've been upstaged by a mouse.
Yeah.
Okay, we have another question right here in the front.
Couple of questions. Stuart talked about expanding beyond the email stage. How would phone calls, for example, work, and how do you track that? And how do you provide information back if you did go to that one single method? The other question I have is, how do you measure success, and how long are you giving yourselves to reach whatever that goal might be?
I can speak real quick on how you might measure a goal. The thing is that everybody has their own opinions, and they can create the shout box any way they want to. Like I said, we create a couple different categories for them, just based off of the most popular topics. But you could literally create one on, maybe it is some other Dakota Access Pipeline thing that comes up or something like that we don't have that content for. So we define success as if they, the person that's creating it, thinks it's working, and we'll provide that information back to them as far as the numbers and stuff and what we think are, kind of what they can expect even before they create it. I think any change is good as well. There's a bunch of tools out there right now that are saying call your elected official or whatever. 5 calls is one of them, but they don't really provide any data. At the same time, there's really no shareability with it, and that's what we're trying to do here is, they have activists, or even what we call super advocates. And then there's this small group of about 4% of us that are activists, and then the rest of us don't do anything. And during our research, and something he's been working on for about 2 years now, is we found out that the common person, you have about 30 seconds to get them to do anything, and that's always been our goal. To create a tool that not only you can complete and do that, but you can see it in the first place. A lot of these tools, again, you don't see them, and that's why I think Facebook was a great application for us to start off with as well.
If I may try to address your question too, there are tools out there for you to call your official. But the approach we'd like to do is first zip code, who's your official, telephone number, call, and also have a script on the topic that you're interested in. I mean, it's really hard to talk intelligently about any one of the important rights-based issues. But some talking points would be helpful. What's also now come about with so many people reaching out to their elected official is that you can't get through. So what about a system where I can record a message and then the phone will automatically redial and send that for me? I can't sit around for an hour waiting to try to talk to somebody. And then again, those analytics can be caught. As far as success, I'm hoping in about 6 months we'll have enough revenue to be able to self-sustain ourselves, or enough revenue to attract other investors. But yeah, it's not open-ended. We have a little bit of a window here that we need to demonstrate there's enough interest to make it worthwhile to continue. But as I've learned, the response rate has really been quite good.
Another question, front and center.
You kind of just mentioned this, but I was just curious as a consumer, so if I create a shout box, how deep of the information and analytics do I get to see of the results from what I posted?
if you create one, I think, for
Well, as of right now, for an individual user, we don't have an individual as an advocate, super advocate. They actually have their own login as they're going to be sort of a super user, and they'll actually be able to see themselves and their whole network of users how much traffic. But we wanted to make just the standard $1 Shoutbox just a once off. Somebody can use it. They're fired up about an issue, and they post it, share it, and they're out.
and I think those analytics are already available on Facebook, but we do plan to build out more of a dashboard where you can get more.
But I'd like to
information.
think, you know, if you are, you know, a serious advocate and you really are interested in like, hey, how far does my reach go, that you're gonna, you know, kind of register as a super advocate and set up and do all that. And that's, you know, that's something that we help those users all along the way.
Yeah, we wanted to make it easy. There's no login or anything like that. Anybody can just go ahead and create it, which obviously leaves the challenge of how do you present data for them if you don't even know who they are. Which, as Stuart mentioned, Facebook, again, great platform. It shows you a lot of the information as far as your engagement rate and things like that. If you want to take that next step and know exactly how far, like your click-through rates and how many times it was sent to your elected officials and things like that, we're finishing a tool that will allow you to do that, but you'll have to actually create an account for that.
Question in the center.
Yes, I was just wondering if you're limited to just Facebook or looking to expand to other social media applications.
We're starting just with Facebook, first because of the ubiquitous use of Facebook and the limited human and financial resources we have. I mean, Facebook alone has taken literally months to design and make the Shoutbox work seamlessly. And they always seem to change things, as I've been learning. And this is true across, I think, every platform. So it's going to take a bit of time and effort and money but we want to be on, you know, Twitter and Tumblr. YouTube, I think, after Twitter would be the next market I'd like to go after.
We have another question, left center.
So you stated that you're going to start with Facebook and that you're making it easier and faster for people to contact and use your platform, but do you have any protections against bots like creating shout boxes? Because their Twitter, you know, people know that there are fake accounts that are created as followers. There's nothing to say that they couldn't write a program to use your shout box or to resend a shout that's already been created unless there's additional financial cost or some sort of like CAPTCHA, something or other to protect from fake users just repetitively sending the same letter.
I mean, as far as the creation side, he can talk about the other side, but creation side, I mean, that's one of the reasons why there's a dollar fee as well. When you leave it completely open, you do kind of open yourself up to people using it for spam or nefarious reasons. Usually when there's a payment gate of some form, it does a really good job of kind of killing that. As far as how it's shared on Facebook,
Well, I mean, once everything's out of our hands, you know, we aren't controlling really where that's set or used. So once it's sort of out in the ethosphere and everybody's using it, you know, it's the virality of it is kind of out of our hands. But also as far as they will not be created maliciously, meaning we have everything you know, in a very secure area on our server for the creation process. And it is a 2 or 3 step process, and you know, our carts, all that stuff is all behind a firewall and is encrypted.
We monitor activity as well, so if we see something that doesn't look correct on our end, we can go and kill the Shoutbox. We can delete it and never be used again.
Question in the center.
Great presentation, by the way. I would imagine that 1,000 concerted voices or 10,000 voices acting in concert is a lot better than 10,000 individual voices. So do you guys have a search or an explore function inside the application that would allow that if I wanted to go advocate on a particular topic, that I can find somebody that's already initiated that and then join in with them as opposed to creating my own?
That's how we first started, was to provide content on a variety of rights-based issues: immigration, abortion, gun control. I had about 20 or 22, but it became very expensive to create the content and then to keep the content updated. We do have a number of topics that the emails are still credible and relevant because the data hasn't changed that much. So we do offer content, but for the most part, we will be looking for individuals, small social action groups, and others to create their own content. And it's easy to copy and paste from existing material. But we do have some content available that's already can be used to pre-populate the email.
And we're working with what we call, again, super advocates. These are non-organizations, but people that might be bloggers and things like that might have 10, 20, 30,000 followers themselves. So one of the tools that we, kind of the next iteration of the Shoutbox, we call the Shoutbox LT. It should actually be available in the next few weeks, but we haven't shown it because it's not live yet. And it will allow those super advocates to create their own content. Maybe they already have their own messages, and then that way they can disseminate it to their already existing connections, of advocates, and they can take that content, personalize it, and then send it on as well.
So our final question for you, the patented 1 million cups question, what can we as a community do to help you?
Please go to Facebook and try it, and share it. Hopefully 10, 15% of you would actually pay for that. That's kind of what we're shooting for. And also, if you're interested, we would like to expand quicker than I think our revenue stream would allow. So if you have any interest in investing, please also look me up.
Thank you so much for your presentation today, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so a couple of quick announcements. The first announcement is Kyle, our wonderful 1 Million Cups organizer, did catch the mouse, so you have nothing else to worry about today. So yay for Kyle. Yay. Also, a reminder that we are putting announcements out on our app as a notification and also as an email. So if you would like to receive those announcements, please sign up on our website. They are posted up here on the projector as well, so if you have any questions about it, please let us know. We have 2 live announcements this morning. I'd like to welcome up Edith from KC Connectors and Jacob from the FX Luncheon to give their announcement. I mean, come on, guys, whoever wants to come up first. Jacob. Okay.
Or is it age before beauty? Good morning. My name is Edith Gummer. I am the research director in education here at the Kauffman Foundation, and you've been seeing a notice up for the KC Connector project. Has anybody received emails, an email invitation for the KC Connector project? Keep your hands up. So there are a few of you, okay? Of those of you who have, now keep your hands up, that have received an invitation, how many of you have gone into the process and made nominations? Okay, let's have a round of applause for these few people who have actually put in nominations. So this is your official invitation for the KC Connector project. We're doing this social network analysis in both education and entrepreneurship. The focus is really on identifying the people that you turn to for expertise, for help, for getting the work done around entrepreneurship and education. So there are cards at the back, and I'll leave a bunch over by the coffee, which I know most people will visit. And we are encouraging you to sign up for it, to fill out the nomination process, which are names and email addresses of people that you turn to so that we can have a really good landscape analysis of entrepreneurship and education in KC. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing today? Okay, I got a question to ask you. Please raise your hand. How many of you love art? Alrighty. Now, how many of you love the art scene in Kansas City? Perfect. Alrighty, so I'm Jacob. I'm the Freelance Exchange Director of Social Media. The reason why I'm up here today is because on March 31st at the District Poorhouse, we're very lucky to have Alice Thorson, the Kansas City studio editor, to talk to us about the art scene in Kansas City. It's going to be fun. It's exciting. You have until next Wednesday to RSVP. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. Okay, and now on to Mug Club. Who's been to 1 Million Cups 10 times? Please raise your hand. Who has not received a mug and joined the Mug Club yet? Are we just a couple? Connor? You want to pick? Yeah, go for it.
Here in the back. Before you get this, you have to introduce yourself and tell us why you love coming to 1 Million Cups.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Rob Rogers. I like coming here because it keeps me motivated. I have a consulting engineering firm. I'm working on my second startup. So I come here just to get motivated. That's why I'm here.
Awesome, thank you.
And then for the second half of our program, I would like to welcome up 3 female entrepreneurs. We're doing a little bit of another women's entrepreneurship panel. Adrienne Haynes is going to moderate with Katie Petty of the Paw Wash, Crystal Wiebe of Beer Paws, and Natasha Kirch of the Grooming Project. Come on, welcome. Round of applause.
Let's give our panelists another round of applause this morning. Thank you, ladies, for being here. So before we get too deep into the questions, I'd like you to give your elevator pitches. Will you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your business.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm Crystal Wiebe. My company is Beer Paws. I started it almost 4 years ago with a bottle opener to put on your dog's collar. And in the past few years, it has evolved very quickly. Currently, we work with about 50 breweries from Omaha down to Austin. We take their spent grains, turn them into a healthy dog treat, and also offer a whole bunch of other fun accessories for pets and people, including a beer for dogs.
My name is Katie Petty, and I am the inventor and founder of the Paw Wash. It's a product that cleans dogs' dirty paws, and I invented it when I was 12. And I've progressed, and I've joined the Scale Up KC program. So I've been learning a lot and just continue to grow my business.
I'm Natasha Kirsch with the Grooming Project. I'm the founder and executive director. It's a program, it's a 501c3 nonprofit that uses a 2-generation approach to break the cycle of poverty by stabilizing mom so that she can raise her children out of poverty. And we use it by training those moms in dog grooming, because you can make $35,000 to $70,000 a year, and it doesn't matter if you have a felony or are reading at a 2nd grade reading level.
Oh, wow, very good. Well, thank you, ladies, for being here this morning. So I think everyone here has presented at 1 Million Cups before with their business. And since we are on the 1 Million Cup stage again, will you give us an update on what's happened in your business since your presentation?
I think I presented in June. We actually then were one of the top finalists for the national 1 Million Cups competition. So since then, they've flown us out to DC, and then we've got another conference coming up in Kansas. We've graduated 10 students so far, and they are all employed, making at least $15 an hour, and have gone from, some of them, from living in their cars to now having apartments and having their children all under one roof again. And we're about to graduate another 4 students.
Okay, I presented probably about 3 years ago, so a lot has changed in 3 years.
Veteran.
I am. It's a long time ago. But since then, I just have continued to grow my business, and I'm interested in bringing on shampoo lines and other products. Maybe we're talking about on Scale Up KC and everything. But since then, I just continued to grow the product, and I'm working on different colors potentially for it, because right now it's just blue and yellow. And basically you add water, you put your dog's paw inside of the paw wash, and you shake it, and it pulls all the dirt and the mud off to clean their dirty paws. So that's basically how it works, because it's kind of confusing if you can't see it. I brought one back there if anyone wants to look at it. But I'm part of the Scale Up KC program, which has been awesome, and sell on Amazon, trying to expand to all the stores and get into the big box stores is what I'm trying to grow.
So I think I presented for the first time here in Kansas City maybe 2 years ago, maybe 2.5. And I continue to present at 1 Million Cups whenever I can in different markets. Most recently, I presented in Oklahoma City in January. It's been a great tool to help get new customers and new partnerships in different markets. So in short, I mean, we've grown from just a handful of brewery partners in mostly Kansas City and Nebraska to, like I said, about 50 breweries all over the Midwest down into Texas. And then the other cool stuff that's happening, I mean, we're about to double our production, which is great. And we are launching some new flavors, including a collaborative gluten-free biscuit that we are doing in partnership with Martin City Brewing Company.
And I feel like I could ask a million questions, 1 million cups. So will you tell us, you all are existing businesses now, you've been very successful, many of you have presented at 1 million cups in other cities. What have been some of the most helpful resources for you in growing your business? I know we keep name dropping Scale Up, so what are some other programs that have really helped you and made the difference in your growth?
I'll start since I have the microphone. So in the first year of starting my company, I was accepted into the Beta Blocks program. So that was definitely really helpful in the beginning for really giving me a lot of confidence because I had never run a business before. My background was in journalism and marketing. That was fantastic. And continuing to kind of pop into events like this, and then I just kind of have a core group of people that I lean on in my personal and professional life for mentorship.
For me, when I was 12, there weren't a lot of these programs around back in 2002. So I mainly relied on my family and our friends' advice that we had. Like, we had some attorneys and other people who had businesses. My family's always been entrepreneurial. My dad owns his own business, my grandpa, my uncle, everybody. We all do our own thing, so it's kind of in my blood. So learning from experience was the biggest thing for me. But luckily now, that's why I name drop so much, because it's so nice having the programs, because I was pretty much on my own with just my family trying to learn as we went 12 years ago. So right now, I would say any people, just meet with them, even Crystal. I didn't even know. I bought one of her beer openers before I even knew her, and then now we're really good friends, and just learning what other people do is some of the best resources you can do. Just meet with people, get some coffee, and learn what they did.
I actually got the idea for this in 2011 and then enrolled at UMKC Block School and got my EMPA there. And that was huge for me. We ended up, actually we were on this stage in 2013 and won the Levitt Challenge. And that was a program that really helps entrepreneurs kind of flesh out their business plan and the idea. And that was really, I think, very helpful for us. The business plan that I don't even look at anymore, but at the time, that was the only leg that I had to stand on when it was basically just an idea, so.
So one thing that we talk about at 1 Million Cups, of course, is your passion, but also the importance of revenue-generating work. So can you all talk to us a little bit about your strategy and your business to continue to be profitable as you scale?
So we're a nonprofit, but we have an earned revenue stream. So this year, 30% of our revenue will be made from student reduced rate grooming sales. So we charge $15 for a bath brush, $28 for a full groom, and we've got annual memberships. We're hoping that by next year we can get up to 50% of our revenue, which is about $200,000 with that stream. The other stream that we're trying to get into right now is there's a lot of federal and state job training money out there that our women would be eligible for. So we're trying to tap into that as well. And then fundraising is the other third.
For me, I've really focused on exporting too recently, and the resources of the World Trade Center down at Union Station has been a wonderful blessing. So I've been starting to apply for grants to be able to maybe attend trade shows overseas where I can't afford at the moment. So exporting is a big thing for me, and looking at all the different markets, because I mean, United States has a lot of animals and dogs, but so do so many other markets that I could sell in and expand. So working that way has been wonderful for me, and trying to bring in more revenue for the future growth.
Kind of from the beginning, my approach has been to establish a lot of wholesale partnerships, and that's been fabulous. And we have, you know, boutiques and breweries and kind of all manner of shops and stores that will carry the products. And then event marketing has been huge and fantastic. We do, like this past weekend, 5 events in one weekend, and beer fests are really fantastic places for us to not only generate revenue, but just meet with people and get more brand awareness. And then the other side, of course, is online e-commerce. So we sell on our website, and then also just recently started offering a few of our products on Amazon.com.
It is Women's History Month, and so will you all tell us, as female founders, have there been any influential women in the development of your business that either you've worked with directly or from afar have inspired you?
It is a really hard one, but it's a fun one to answer. So, I mean, I have to say my mom, she had a small business growing up and believed in what I was doing from the start, even though I think that the idea of me quitting my corporate job terrified the crap out of her. And this is one of the first 1 Million Cups events that I've been to that she wasn't able to actually attend. So, and then more recently, as my company has grown, I've been able to pull a few helpers into the fold and not just be me. And almost all of them are these fantastic, fiery, brilliant, creative women who I learn from all the time. And they bring things to the table and have skills that help in areas where I'm maybe a little more deficient. And it has really helped things become much more efficient and even fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride that. My mother as well. My mother and I have a younger sister, and being a startup, you really rely on your family. So always, my sister has helped me so much with marketing and her ideas and just boxing and taking care of things. And my mom is very entrepreneurial. She works with my dad in their own business. I have to mention my dad. I know he's not a woman, but he's
Love the
very,
dads, too.
I know, he's very inspiring, and he's been my backbone completely with running and trying to get this going. So I owe a lot to him, and my mom, of course, for everything she does. But I think women entrepreneurs are wonderful, and I think it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You have amazing ideas, and you just need to go do what you want to do. And quitting your corporate job was a big step as well in trying to make that leap and growing your company.
My mom, she was a dog groomer in Iowa, and so I actually got the idea from her, because when I had a bunch of women sitting on my couch that couldn't find jobs because of felonies, and my mom would call every day because she needed more help, that's really how I got the idea. So it was her, and then later, there's a lot of women in Kansas City. There's a group called 100 Women Who Mean Business, and many of them have started mentoring me on the business, which has been wonderful.
So I'd like to turn over the questions to our panelists here. Ladies, do you have any questions?
If I can operate the mic. I'm curious on your paw or on the Beer Paws. How much of your business is wholesale?
I would say close to 50%.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And on paw wash, why the international market? What is the appeal there versus expansion in the United States?
Well, I've been growing in the United States, but the amount of, I would say, sales internationally is substantial when you start looking at the research, and how many people in like Japan will buy the smaller paw washes, and even Canada. I've been looking at the numbers, and the people, I do my research, and they're buying more stuff in different countries than just my country. And we can go overseas and drop ship, and I think the expansion would be even better.
And do you have plans for additional products?
I do. I've been talking with a few companies about creating shampoo lines, because with my product, once you buy it, you have the mitt and the paw wash, but I made it such good quality. I actually met with Think Big, and they're like, this is great quality. It doesn't break, so you need something, to keep people coming back to your site. I was like, oh, okay. So I've been working on, this company makes these fizzy balls that you can put in, so you wouldn't have to carry a like a bottle of shampoo to a dog park. You could just have these balls and put it in the water, and it would create all the suds and everything. So I'm working on that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Natasha, I know you from partnerships that we do with the Women's Employment Network. I love the business model for any nonprofit to have your own earned revenue. It protects your diversity and funding. So do you see that growing even beyond 50%?
Well, we do. We haven't talked about this really much yet, but we are looking at opening up a mobile grooming. And we would charge market rate for the mobile grooming. We would hire graduates to run it, and we're looking at doing an incubator for our graduate students that want to start their own businesses. And we're talking with dog parks in the area and other apartment buildings where we could park this truck. And with some of the projections that we have so far, there's the possibility that in 5 years it could actually pay for our nonprofit every year. The other one that we're looking at that we'll actually do a Kickstarter in the next month is we have a partnership with a nonprofit in India who trains single mothers living in poverty, just like we do, in sewing. And so they have designed dog collars and leashes for us and little doggy scarves in the traditional Indian pattern. And then we would sell them here in Kansas City and hopefully get into some wholesale markets. That would be another revenue stream for us as well.
I'm curious as to how you identify the women that are in your program.
We actually go through a lot of partner organizations, so we've got about 26 different partnerships in the Kansas City area. We are looking at so that's shelters. Most of the women that come, well, every woman who's come to our program has either been homeless or living in low-income housing, and they're getting food stamps or child care subsidies. So we partner with those agencies, and then they kind of help direct people to us.
We're going to open it up to the audience. So if you have a question for any of these ladies, please raise your hand. Anyone? Okay, they're in the middle.
Ladies, first off, thank you very much for coming up here and speaking today. And I'm an entrepreneur. I just started my own business, and I know several people here that started their own businesses. What were some of the hurdles you guys have? What were some of the other hurdles you guys have done, or some of the hurdles you guys went through in order to succeed? Or what were what were the first few months like in each of your businesses?
Well, for us, it was I needed to raise $500,000 to open last year, and nobody wanted to be the first person to give money for a nonprofit, and we didn't have any credibility because we've never done this before. So it was really convincing that first donor, and it actually was our largest was the city of Kansas City came in for $100,000.
Yeah, there's been many hurdles. I would a lot, but I would say some of the main ones were where I was going to get my product manufactured was the first one, and it is made overseas in China due to the fees. But trying to find that factory was kind of a struggle. But I actually met with Joe Rately, and he did Greenies, who's out of Kansas City, so he was a good mentor in the beginning. So he kind of pointed me in the right direction of where to get my product manufactured. And today we have switched factories, and she was actually educated at K-State, so I speak with her frequently, and she's been in the area, so it's been a great partnership. But for a lot of entrepreneurs, I know trying to find, okay, I have the idea, I got patented, now how do I get it made, where do I even begin? So finding the right person, and I'm willing to help anyone if they have questions with that.
So much for me, the hurdle in the beginning was really, it was me, like getting in my own way and kind of on some level lacking the confidence that I could really do this. And so once I started to get over that, things started happening very quickly and really just kind of believing in myself and lining up the right people behind me and alongside me to help me move this thing forward. So, I mean, surround yourself with people who believe in you, who will be honest at the same time with you, but who really want to see you succeed. I can't emphasize that enough.
Question in the front.
Can you describe to us your target customer, your perfect customer, and then what markets you're looking to break into and how you want to expand that?
Sure. So my target customer typically is going to be someone who is into craft beer, or at least enjoys having a beer once in a while with friends enough that they find the idea of getting a dog treat made in collaboration with craft breweries is attractive. They're also someone who is interested or cares about the health of their pet. I'm really looking at different regions as far as where we're growing our markets. So we're trying to push further south and then also further west.
Yeah, I'm close to an ideal customer with the health-wise. My ideal customer would be somebody who really values their animal as not an animal or a dog, but as a family member, and is really important to keep their dog clean and healthy, because that's what my product does. It's a grooming product to keep their paws clean, and it also works if they get sick or their paws get cuts on them. They can use it to soak it. So it's mainly like the health of the dog. So I'm trying to grow it also with veterinarians on promoting it and trying to find a good partnership with vets pushing it out, because I've spoken with people and they go, if this was at my vet's office and they suggested I use this, that's what I would use it for. So I invented it originally just to clean mud and make it easier for life, but it can also be used for great health benefits.
We have a few different customers because we've got our donors, our client that's the student, and then we've got our pet customers. And the surprising customer of all of this has been our pets, because 85% of the dogs that we groom are low-income pet parents that can't afford to go to a grooming salon, which was very surprising for us. And then with our donors often bring their dogs in, so those are going to be your wealthier people. So.
Well, thank you, ladies. You guys all have very amazing stories. And so as the last final question for you guys, what are we as a community doing to help you?
Check us out at thegroomingproject.org and see if you'd like to volunteer, donate, or bring your dog in.
Yeah, definitely check us out on our website. It's just thepawwash.com, and you can like us on Facebook, social media, and I don't know currently right now, Kyle, but we are both in the Battle of the Brands, so we don't know if we made the Elite 8. We'll find out today. Voting starts tomorrow, so we're both in it, so we just love the support. We definitely social media. I'm on there all the time trying to keep updates, so that's wonderful. If you go to a pet store, ask for the paw wash, and they say they don't carry it, be like, absolutely, why not? And get really frustrated with them and tell them they should, and then that's a good way to grow it in the community. But I think I've nailed about every local place around Kansas City, I hope. If not, let me know.
And I will echo a lot of Katie's remarks. Connect with us on social media. If you have a favorite brewery in there, wherever they are. If they're not working with us, please make the suggestion and let all your dog-loving, beer-drinking buddies know they can get some really cool dog treats and swag for themselves and their pups.
Community, please join me in thanking our fine panelists today.
All right, everybody, can we please give a warm round of applause for Adrienne being an awesome moderator? Thank you all for coming out today. Make sure you come back next week. We have the Agreeable app and Borgman's Dairy Farm presenting, so make sure to bring a friend, and we will see you all next week. Thank you.